today we're going to talk about capitalism so that you can better understand capitalism. We often hear Rastaman talk about fireburn capitalism and fireburn the system, and many don't really understand what is capitalism or what the system is and if you should burn it altogether. And this topic is very important to me because I am an entrepreneur, and not just an entrepreneur, but I am an entrepreneur that competes for my place in the system called capitalism. So today we're going to talk about Rastaman and capitalism, and if you should burn it, what it is, and what is your role as a Rastaman in it. Capitalism is an economic system where the major decisions for production, for distribution, and for consumptions of goods and services are primarily in the hands of households or consumers and corporations. So this is very different from a government-owned or a planned economic system where most of the decisions concerning the production of goods and services, how goods are distributed and even consumed, are in the hands of the government. So basically, in a nutshell, that is capitalism. So there is the traditional economic system that you would say, or you would think that the Caribbean has. But in essence, a traditional economy is supposed to take care of its needs, even if it doesn't have sufficient to take care of production outside of its needs. A traditional economy is supposed to take care of its needs. And what we find in our traditional economy in the Caribbean is we cannot even take care of our needs. We import most of the things that we need, and the things that we produce, we don't use. So it's really messed up, and many don't really understand economies and how they come about and their role to play. And so we're in the system talking about bonnets and chant it down. It's very important to understand that the system of capitalism is a very young economic system. And whether Rastaman decides to chant it or not, we are going in that direction, okay? So the question you should be asking is, what is your role in capitalism? So essentially in the economy, there are three agents. There would be the government, you would be the consumer, and there would be the producer. The problem that we're having in the system is consumers don't understand their value, they don't understand their importance, and they don't understand their role. As a consumer, you need to ask yourself, are you a conscious consumer? Are you the kind of consumer who shops for whatever is marketed to you? Or are you the consumer who naturally thinks about your wants and your needs? You decipher what you should buy. You look at your finances. You look at the distribution of the goods and services. And finally, you look at the waste. What do you do with the packaging at the end of using it? Are you the selfish person that takes it and throws it in the trash, and you know that it's going to end up in a landfill, and you know that it's going to take a lot of years for it to break down? Are you the kind of person that still purchases in plastic, even though you know we are having issues with plastic in the water and it's floating all the way down into the Caribbean Sea? So if you know your role as a consumer, you are the one that gives the labor. If you do not give your labor, the producer cannot produce. If you decide that you're not going to show up with your labor, the entire economy is shut down. You are the one that gives authorizations to the government to sit in positions of rule. Do you know that if you do not choose a government, none can be installed? So if you see yourself as an ordinary person just trying to live day by day, and you're burning the economy, but you still use currency, you still use money that perpetuates the system, my question to you is, what are you doing? Because an economy is not some invisible thing that the elites have created up in the sky or the white man has created. The economy is this invisible hand that is moving based on your unlimited wants and needs. Scarcity is as a result of the consumption being so much, we don't know what to produce. As entrepreneurs, we don't have enough materials to produce the unlimited wants and needs of humanity. And then we've created this concept of scarcity. So as a producer, who are you? Are you the producer that goes with the wind? So there's a trend for selfish TikTok finds, and do you create a factory to produce it? And do you know that it adds no value, but it perpetuates useless consumerism? What kind of producer are you? What kind of entrepreneur are you? What kind of businessman are you, businesswoman? Who are you? What is the motive of your business? What are your values? And then there's the government. No, it seems. In my last video, I would have spoken about His Imperial Majesty coming to end a time of monarchy and to introduce a time of nation collaboration and self-governance. And I stand by my words as we see governments now take precedent and take rulership over us. You would also understand that when His Imperial Majesty came forward, and way before he ascended the throne, His Imperial Majesty placed quite a lot of emphasis on modernization, on developing governments, because as I said before, it doesn't matter if Rastaman doesn't like it or not. You cannot change the destiny of the earth. You must first understand what your role is, and then you'll be able to understand your purpose, and you'll be able to act in purpose. Our role is not to chant it down, but hold up the thing. I just highlighted to you the 3 agents and I told you what they should be. Your role is to ensure that whatever systems that are developed and however man has evolved, because evolution is a continuous thing, you know. This existed a long time ago. Man has never been trading from the beginning of time, but trade is necessary as we continue to evolve. So as man continues to develop systems with his intellect, whether it be economic systems or otherwise, the Rastaman's position is to ensure that love and light remains in it. So we can go back to the Nazarite vow and how there is a remnant that is supposed to remain purest. And even as the Creator would have given commandments to basic humankind of what to eat and how to eat, there is a remnant who was told, those rules are not for you. Those rules are for the people, for them to live, for them to evolve. But those rules are not for you because you are my direct line. You are my direct lineage. You cannot desecrate yourself with flesh. You cannot cut your hair. You cannot do these things. Let's remain in covenant together. You know who you are. But you don't go chanting a system down that is necessary for the governance of mankind. A Rastaman can very much live in a traditional system and be in communion with his Creator and be perfectly fine for the rest of his life or the rest of her life. But the entire world was given commandments that they must follow, because you know, y'all get out of control. Y'all do things crazy. So the work of the Creator is to usher in a new age. And as you can see, the work of the Son, through the vehicle of the Christ, has not taken root all over society, because we still have consumers who are not conscious of how they are purchasing. We still have businesses who are eating just useless competition. We have quite a lot of waste. There's inequality in the way that resources are divided. And if you cannot divide the resources equitably in the first place, you will have some having more than the other. And so the work of the Christ is really supposed to develop on the man, you know. So it doesn't matter where you fall in the economies that we create. You are governing from a place of good. You are producing from a place of good, and you are also consuming from a place of good. When the Creator comes in to usher in a new age of modernization, of self-governance and of government, your role is not to chant it down, but to ensure that the persons in power, righteous judge, are the ones that takes care of the welfare of the people. Because a king used to do that, and you know our king used to do it well. So your role is not so much to go vote, Rastaman, but more so to ensure that when the people vote, people choose themselves a righteous leader, a leader that can stay connected with the spiritual elements of the earth, they can receive messages of good, of love, and of light. That is your role. So why would Rastaman come and parade around with the white men in the time of colonization? Why was Rastafari so interested in modernization?
A crowd of Ethiopians watch Her Majesty the Queen welcome the Emperor to her capital. This is his first visit for many years. He was last in this country as a refugee after Mussolini's troops had invaded his kingdom. The Duke of Edinburgh and the Queen Mother greet the Emperor, who is known to his own people as the King of Kings, the conquering Lion of Judah, elect of God, power of the Trinity.
Because modernization was necessary in this new age. The fact is, humanity has come a long way, and evolution is a continuous process. So, chanting it away would not change the path of destiny. You need to understand your role. If you're the Rastaman or the righteous few, the righteous judge, ensuring that goods are produced with ethics. Governments rule with a heart, and the people understand love. The people understand how to buy or how to trade among themselves. We are now trading among ourselves. Man now, through capitalism, has the opportunity to rise from the bottom all the way to the top, to earn for himself or to financially liberate himself and his bloodline. Where it was aristocracy, where families would own the wealth and then they would hire the peasants, where the kings would be the richest and then he would distribute. We are living in a time where the Christ has come to show you how to govern yourself and how to care for the other neighbor and how to do this from within. His Imperial Majesty came to show governments that were moving away from 40 years of rule and 30 years of rule and 4 years of a leader. And if you are not accountable for what you say you're going to do for us, the people, we're going to take you out. That is the point of the system that you have created called capitalism. So every time you shop, or every time you think of a business idea, or every time you feel like you have some governmental aspirations, you created this system, and it's your responsibility that as it grows with love and light. Rastafari.